Parkrose Community United Church of Christ. We're glad you're here. It seems amazing to think that yesterday morning at this time I was sitting in Grace Cathedral in San Francisco with about 750 other people at an amazing conference, and you're going to hear about it, I promise. It's so good to be home back where I belong, right? I think so. I think it's a great community here, and I'm so happy to be back from that amazing adventure in San Francisco. We gathered here today and we offer our respects to the ancestors and descendants of the original people of this land. We invite their presence here, as we do everybody who's here. Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. I invite you to stand as you're able for our opening songs. First, Come My People. Reminds us, no matter what happens in our lives, God is present.
You
Please take a moment and greet those who are Let's enter a time of prayer beginning with our centering song, Holy Spirit, Santo Spirit. I invite you to join me this morning together in an emergence prayer. O holy God, heart of heaven and earth, praise be your holy name. Your daughters and sons from all peoples of the world, regardless of borders, praise you. We praise you and give you thanks because you have placed in our midst immigrant pilgrims who make the earth flourish and produce, to bring food to the table of the rich and poor alike. We praise you and give you thanks because you always walk with those who cross borders in search of well-being, of doing their part in building the world you entrusted to us. On our way, we are mindful of your presence, of the promise to Abraham and Sarah, of the liberation of your people Israel. We praise you and give you thanks for your blessings on all immigrants, on those who cross all the borders in the United States. Today we pray for a clear and direct pathway to citizenship for all of our people. We pray that you guide the hearts of policymakers to make the right decisions and be on the right side of history. This is our prayer. We respond together in your many beautiful names. Amen. Holy Spirit, be with us, we pray. Santo Spiritu, descende. invite the young folks to come meet Erica over here as we sing our song.
Good morning. That step didn't seem so far away. Sat down. I'm better. I'm with my friends here. How's everybody doing? Good? Good. I have a question for you before I show you a funny little video. What do you know about sheep and goats? Okay, so what did you say? Oh, watch this. What are those? Goats or sheep? You think? What'd you say? Hi.
Why would a heavy sheep try to get a weak sheep that way?
I don't even know, but that's what that is. So that funny video was when my sister and I were in Norway. Oh, thank you. Because we're saving up for a goat, aren't we, in class? That's right.
Yeah, we are.
We are. Okay, we'll talk about that. So that story, or the video, is when my sister and I were on a hike in Norway. And one of the things that I know about sheep is they follow a shepherd, right? And of course, we walked up to this little gate, and these sheep weren't going to let us go because I think they thought we were their shepherd. But hi is how you say hello in Norwegian. So we had to go, hi, and they went, "Meh." And then they all responded just because they're Norwegian sheep. You were asking how they would move, but they wouldn't move. So that's what I know about sheep. What do you guys know about goats?
They scream.
They can scream.
Skittles!
Do they eat everything?
Yeah.
Are they kind of stubborn?
Yeah. They
Yeah,
are really.
okay.
They're like, one time my cousin said,
Okay.
don't call Skittles.
All right, well, so one of the things, the lesson today is a story told by Jesus about sheep and goats. And do you know which one of those is
Yeah, the sheep is the furry one.
the furry one? Okay. Because some of those sheep in that video they looked like a goat, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they've been sheared, so they didn't have their fluff. So one of the things is, the Bible story is talking about people who are sheep, who follow the way, the goodness and the light. And the goats are a little more stubborn and try to do things on their own, and maybe not always in community. And what I like about that picture is those two, that sheep and that goat, is snuggling. That's like they have a connection to each other. So when we think about that story, when we hear it about sheep and goats, let's try to think about the ways that we can find a common thread to one another. Okay, they are cute. But listen, I have a little prayer for us, and then today y'all are going to stay here because it's Communion Sunday. Okay? I know. All right. Yes, you can. Okay, let's pray your prayer. Let's get ready for prayer. We're going to say a prayer. Okay. Blessed Creator, give us the courage to help others. Give us the words to ask for help when we need it. Fill our connections to other people with love. Help us be the blessing we already are. In your community, amen.
Let's join together. You can remain seated as we sing, Won't You Let Me Be Your Servant, a song about being together in community and serving one another. Won't you let me be your servant? Let me be as Christ to The passage this morning is the Gospel of Matthew.
Good morning. Good morning. Reading this morning from Matthew 25, 34 through 40 of the Inclusive Bible. Jesus tells a parable of choosing what is right. The ruler will say to those on the right, "Come, you blessed of my God, inherit the realm prepared for you from the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. Naked, and you clothed me. I was ill, and you comforted me. In prison, and you came to visit me." Then these just will ask, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or see you thirsty and give you drink? When did we see you as a stranger and invite you in, or clothe you in your nakedness? When did we see you ill or in prison and come to visit you? The ruler will answer them, "The truth is, every time you do this for the least of my sisters or brothers, you did it for me."
Our Lenten, I think my voice is going away. Our Lenten journey this year has been to explore the possibility of becoming an immigrant welcoming congregation and what that might mean, both from the perspective of immigrants and refugees and from our perspective. And today we're looking at what immigrants and refugees are seeking. What are we seeking for? I think any number of things, these are just a few of them: safety, home, family, security, jobs. Those who move such a dramatic move from long distances to come to a place they don't know usually have some of these things in mind when they come. And when they come, it becomes our business, our priority, our work to figure out how we can address those things and how we can find ways to welcome them. This particular passage is very clear, it would seem to me. There's no messing around here. We didn't read the part about the sheep and the goats, because people tend to get lost in the sheep and the goats. Like sheep and goats, like sheep get lost. Anyway. But the point is that Jesus gives a list of things which are just the core kinds of things that can help us understand if we choose the right in this analogy, if we choose to be the sheep and follow the right path, these are the kinds of things that will be asked of us. "Come, you blessed of my God, inherit the realm prepared for you from the creation of the world." This indicates that these are things that have been around forever, and they're actually part of our makeup if we can allow them to rise up in us. So some of those things that Jesus mentioned specifically are food, drink, welcome, clothing, comfort, and presence. Now it's interesting the way it's presented, because the ruler says to the people, "Do these things," and they say, "Well, where did we see you in all of this?" And he said, "When you do it to anybody, when you do it to anybody, you're doing it to me." Jesus is saying, do it to me, because Jesus lives in every one of us. Whether we're a Christian or not, God lives in every one of us. And so this passage is so, it's like the pearl at the center of the oyster. It's very clear. And specifically for us, I think, when we're talking about immigrants and refugees, I was a stranger and you welcomed me in. Now we can have days of discussions about what that means in actual fact, and I think there's any number of options about what that means. But if we come from a place of welcoming the stranger, then we can have a better outcome in how that all falls out. The conference I went to in San Francisco was called Why Christian? And it was originally conceived by Nadia Bolz-Weber, a Lutheran pastor, and Rachel Held Evans, I think she's Episcopalian. Anyway, they conceived this idea of borrowing from the evangelical tradition of testimony and put together a conference where people would testify to why they can be Christian in this day and age. And it would be surprising to you what some of the reasons are amidst all the uproar that surrounds us these days. There were people who had, there was a couple of women who had had miscarriages. That was the darkness in their life. And they found that having hope in the midst of that is what Christianity brought to them. So I'm a Christian because I have hope. Somebody else said, hope is for the desperate. Hope is for the desperate. And I think all of us have been in places where we've been desperate and looking for that hope. There was a young man who had difficulty. He grew up poor and in an immigrant family that his parents had immigrated, and he was struggling with the fact that he was gay, and he couldn't figure out how that was going to work for him. And when he eventually came out to his parents, he discovered that, guess what? He was their son, and they loved him, and the hope came back. There was lots of tears in this conference. One of the presenters talked about the compost pile. Now, I think that's particularly appropriate in this congregation where we're garden crazy. And he talked about the compost pile being a place of death and resurrection. Because you put all the stuff on the compost pile, it dies, is decomposed, it gets mixed up, and worms do their job, and it's reborn as healthy soil. And this young man is a student in Princeton Seminary, and he particularly works at the farm. They have a farm program at Princeton Seminary that's called the Farminary. And his understanding of the compost pile and the theology of the compost was brilliant and helped me get hold in this season where in Lent we travel through that death and that pain and that hurt and arrive at a transformation on Easter where there's good soil again. So as we think about these words, it's important for us, I think, to be open to having conversation about and with people who are immigrants and refugees. This is from the wonderful Roman Catholic sister Joan Chittister, and she says, "We must speak good about everyone we do not know, and yet do know to be just as full of God as we are, maybe even more so." So as we continue this journey for another couple of weeks and beyond, I think this is going to be a long-term discussion for us. Keep these thoughts in mind that if folks who come seeking for safety and home and community, if we can be partners with them in finding ways that can happen, and I think there's way more than one way that can happen. So, what is it they are seeking for, and what is it you are seeking As we gather at the table this morning to celebrate communion, I invite you to think about the fact that we are all human beings and we all have pain and we all suffer. And unless we come to grips with those pains and sufferings, we can't get to the transformation part. And so, may this meal today be an invitation for you to sit with those things that you hold, that are painful, that are anxiety-producing, those things that keep you from being your fully best self. And sit with those and think about ways that you can be composted and turned into good soil. We know that the last meal that Jesus had with his friends, his disciples, was right before he was killed by oppressive regime that was holding captive the people of Israel. And so he gathered his friends around knowing that he was going to die, and they didn't want to hear it. But yet again, they had to sit with that pain. They had to feel that pain in order to move forward. So he took the bread off the table and he broke it, just as his body would be broken. He gave thanks for it, and he gave it to them, and he said, "This bread shows that I am with you now in human form, and I can be broken, just as you can be broken. And yet, the possibility of transformation and resurrection are there. Every time you eat, remember me and remember that." Then he took the cup on the table and he blessed it and gave it to them, and he said, "The liquid in this cup symbolizes the blood that I am about to shed, willingly, because I have to stand up for what I believe is right. I have to go through that pain. Every time you drink, remember me and remember that journey that we have through the cross to the resurrection." Let's pray. Loving God, we pause in this moment in a season of Lent where we're surrounded by bad news. Help us to take in that news in ways that can mold it and remake it and make it good news in the long run. Help us to sit with pain and sit with those in pain as we work through the issues that keep us from being our best selves. Bless these gifts of grape and grain that they may help us remember how to do that work, just as you have shown us. All of these things we ask in your many beautiful names. Amen. Ask Sharon to come join me. We receive communion by intinction. That means you take a piece of bread or the gluten-free cracker, and dip it in the juice and eat it, and return to your seat. Bring your offering and your leaves with you and leave them in this basket right here, your carbon fast leaves. And remember that this is not the table of a particular church or religion or denomination. This is God's table. And God is in all of us. So everybody is welcome at this table. Please come now. We'll start here, work to the way back, and then across and forward. If you can't get up to the front, we'll check out who needs to be served in their seats after everyone else is served. And the table is ready. Come now. share your presence with everyone we meet. In your many beautiful names. Amen. Please be seated. This is the time when we all have an opportunity to share the prayers that you bring with you today. What is on your hearts today? Yes, Diane had cataract surgery and she now has 20/20 vision.
Hey.
God of love.
Traveling mercies for my lovely wife and our roommate Larry as they spend a well-deserved week of rest in Mexico.
Wow. Prayers for Kirsten and your all roommate and big volunteer at Snowcap, Larry, who are spending a week in Mexico. God of love. I also ask prayers for Gary Whitteman. He's in the hospital, had an accident with his car. He will no longer be driving. Prayers for Gary and his family as they process this change in life for him. It's difficult, we all know. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
And also prayers for Rodney. I heard from him that he saw his doctor early this week and she said he needs to be at Port Haven for another month. So prayers for Rodney, for the staff, and for calm in that situation and patience. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
For two prayers of gratitude. One, my grandson and his dad were in a small car accident. Everybody is okay, which is wonderful. And then also gratitude for all the fixers and makers who were here yesterday for the repair fairs. Yeah, people who can actually fix stuff. It's pretty cool.
Sharon asked prayers of thanksgiving for her son-in-law and grandson who were in an accident. They're all okay. And thanksgiving for everyone who participated in the repair cafe yesterday. I don't know if you heard her, she said, we have folks here who can fix stuff. I think that's a pretty good thing. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Yes.
Prayers of thanksgiving for my stepson Eric. He had the last of 12 chemos and his prognosis is good.
Nancy asked prayers for her stepson, what's his name?
Eric.
Eric, who has gone through a course of chemo and prognosis is good. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Prayers for one of our employees at my office, Curtis. He's going through a difficult time right now, so I just pray for healing and comfort for him.
Prayers for Curtis, who's going through a difficult time right now. Prayers of healing and comfort for Curtis. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Oh, prayers of you can say it yourself, you know. Prayers of thanksgiving that Mark Crawford is visiting with us today. Back from Montana. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Prayers for my son Michael, who is experiencing heavy depression.
Prayers for Barbara's son Michael, who's experiencing a lot of depression right now. God of love.
Well, of course, for another Michael, my neighbor's son, who's been really wonderful help with my house, that is suffering the extreme form of bipolar, and it has several people, counselors, rallying to help and bring some changes, and prayers for all of those struggling with mental health and times of anxiety.
Diana asked prayers for her neighbor's son Michael, who is suffering around a bipolar disorder at the moment, getting good help hopefully, and prayers for all who suffer with mental health issues. God of love.
Thank you for your presence.
Prayers for my friend's mom who's going to treat patients cancer.
Excuse me, say it loud.
Pancreas cancer.
Annie asked prayers for her friend's mother who has pancreatic cancer. God of love. Thank you for your presence. No?
Yeah, I wanted to just give Thanksgiving for thanks for this wonderful community and tell you how much I miss you guys. I really miss this. It's so good to be back. And I will get back and visit as often as I can.
Barb offers thanksgiving for this community that she misses living in Missoula. And she told me she went to church there once, but it wasn't quite the same. And she'll be back to visit as often as she can. God of love. Thank you for your presence. Let us pray together. Holy One, we pause in this moment, exposing our own pain, our own brokenness, and knowing that you are there for us. We ask you to be with those we've named out loud, as well as all of those who you know we hold closely to our hearts. We ask that we can be agents of your love and healing with them, and that they can feel your real presence moving within them. We pray for world leaders that they can find some wisdom in the understanding that we are all connected. There's more that unites us than divides us, and if we can only find that with your help, we can move more quickly toward resurrection. We pray for those who live in harm's way, whether it be in a battle zone or in an abusive relationship. May they find safety and comfort. We ask you to be with those who live on our city streets in this wet and cool season, that they can find shelter and food and relationship. And at the same time, we ask that we be part of that finding of those things. We pray for all who are traveling, that they can return to us safely. I give thanks, O God, for an amazing collection of progressive Christians who gathered in San Francisco this weekend to proclaim why they are Christian. Help us to tell our own stories so that we can find ways to share your love with everyone we meet. All of this we ask in the name of our brother and teacher, Jesus of Nazareth, who taught us to pray together in these words from the New Zealand prayer book. Eternal Spirit, earth maker, pain bearer, life giver, source of all that is and that shall be, Father and Mother of us all, loving God in whom is heaven, the hallowing of your name echoes through the universe. The way of your justice be followed by the peoples of the earth. Your heavenly will be done by all created beings. Your commonwealth of peace and freedom sustain our hope and come on earth. With the bread we need for today, feed us. In the hurts we absorb from one another, forgive us. In times of temptation and test, spare us. From the grip of all that is evil, free us. For you reign in glory of the power that is love, now and forever. Amen. Our feast moment today is a look at the work of Humane Borders, Fronteras Compassadas. And it's a group that lives down by the border in Arizona, mostly, and provide water for people trying to cross that really dangerous desert. So here's a little bit of their work.
is on the road again.
It's hot.
But this road is made of dirt. He's driving into the middle of nowhere.
I'd never heard of people dying out here in the desert unless some fool ran out of gas or something.
Tucker is part of a volunteer group called Humane Borders.
The biggest thing that we shoot for is awareness.
And today, a group of high school students from Tucson has come along to help service one of the group's 100 water stations. The students are getting a first-hand view of a controversial but humanitarian operation. You see, these water drums are left out for illegal immigrants.
We don't worry too much about the politics and what part of the political arena you stand on or your parents stand on, more so than no one deserves to die in the desert because of thirst or hunger.
Not everybody shares that view. You can see evidence of the mixed feelings on the water drums themselves.
This was a water drum, and it was shot full of holes.
How often does that happen?
It happened a lot in the early days.
I'm thirsty.
Tucker says it rarely happens today, but this YouTube video taken by another humanitarian aid group appears to show a U.S. Border Patrol agent dumping out jugs of water and accusing volunteers of aiding and abetting felons. The Border Patrol says that incident is under investigation.
Have you ever run into anything like that?
Oh, no, not at all.
To Carl Tucker, there is no controversy out here. It's just a matter of helping people in need.
Okay, in a week, the barrel would be up.
I think the one thing that we do is that we save some lives. We don't know how many lives we save, but we know that somebody's using the water.
There are announcements on the back of your program. The Easter Lily order forms are available in the back of the church if you want to order one of those in honor or memory of someone. The forms are in the back. Auction committee meeting today, immediately after service in Eastminster. Church cleanup day, which is next Saturday, April 15th, beginning at 9. Trustees welcome everyone. So, do we need to bring tools?
I don't think we're going to maybe do painting and cleaning and that kind of thing.
Mainly cleaning. So just show up with willing hearts and hands. A couple of Holy Week events, which is the week after this coming week. On Monday, Thursday, which is the 18th, we'll have a communion service and a potluck, and then we'll have communion around the tables at that potluck on that evening. And then on Good Friday, we'll have the Labyrinth Walk. Thanks to Erica and a bunch of volunteers, we have a piece of canvas that's being beautifully labyrinth drawn on it and we can lay out on the floor in here. So you can come and walk the labyrinth and bring food for snowcap at the same time on Good Friday. All right, there's a whole bunch going on Easter. That's all right there. Square Riggers dinner, if you would like to make reservations, talk to Lucy. And that's tomorrow night. And the fellowship breakfast on Wednesday morning. So, and Tammy has something. Oh, yes, the reports, the quarterly giving reports are available at the money changers table. So, oh, and I forgot the birthday slide, but we'll do it anyway.
Good morning again. I just want to give a ginormous thank you to volunteers who came and helped with our repair cafe yesterday. We had a great time fixing each other's stuff. We had one person from the community and a lot of Facebook traffic, and so I think if we did this event next year, or next season, I think we'd be really well attended, and a lot of people are interested in those kind of things. So thank you, and also to my volunteers who helped paint the labyrinth. It's Good Friday's service will be really wonderful because of you, so thank you so much.
All right, we got a couple things going on. Excuse me. So first of all, today is Picture Makeup Day. I do see a few faces out there that I haven't caught yet. So if this is your last chance to get a photo taken for the photo directory and the choir, you know to meet me immediately after this service. And I do have a family function to get to, so we're going to do it really fast. So that's going on. Oh, and I do have on my iPad, I have loaded the pictures that I have taken. I've done a sort, so if you are interested to see your lovely, cheerful face, you can come see me and we'll find you and I can show you the pictures that have been taken so far. Or you can just wait till the directory comes out and be surprised. So we also have, with all the Easter happenings, next week on Palm Sunday, we are going to have a bake sale. So that means I need you to dust off your Easter recipes and bring some goodies. Could be savory or sweet, either one. And that will be immediately following church service next week. It isn't necessary that you tell me, but if you know what you're going to bring or that you're going to bring something, I would appreciate kind of just getting an idea so I know we're going to have some things. And then next week will be your job to spend some money and buy some goodies. All right, so now we have birthdays and anniversaries for April. We have, do we have any April anniversaries to lift up and celebrate, Jan?
April 24th, 47 years.
Wow, well, happy anniversary. April anniversaries. All right, how about birthdays? Shirley, oh, Darlene, oh yeah, Darlene. Which day? Which day is your birthday?
17.
April 17th, and we're going to ask the question, how old are you?
102.
She's going to be 102. We're going to have a bake sale for your birthday? All right, anybody else? Yes, Connor.
April 9th.
April 9th. We won't ask you. Diane?
Oh, I'd like to add my twins, so we're 52 years old, April 11th, and we're born on Academy Award night. Anyway.
Congratulations.
And what are their names?
Wendy and Heather. Heather's been to events here.
Okay, Wendy and Heather. Well, happy birthday to them. Barbara?
My granddaughter turned 21 on the 3rd.
What's her name?
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
And I am going to be at 67 on the 29th.
Oh, you didn't lead with that one. And I'm sorry, the 27th?
29th.
29th. Well, happy birthday. All right. Anybody else? Oh, we got Donna?
Yeah, on the board.
On the 4th. Oh, missed that. Well, happy birthday to you. All right. Anyone else? All right. Well, we don't have our screen, but you guys know the words, so let's sing happy birthday. Oh, did we have another one? Are you waiting? Okay. All right.
And we're now going to read out the leaves that we collected for our carbon fast today. There are quite a few of these. Is somebody going to come tie them on the tree? All right, here we go. Turn off lights.
Turn
Load the dishwasher to full capacity before running it. This one has 2 on 1. Walk home from work. Use less water during doing dishes. Share joy. Start composting. Eat veggies. Eat local. Save more. Turning off lights. Not running heater. Taking the bus.
It says smile more.
Combining
Errand trips.
ride share, carpool. Recycle as much as possible. Okay. This has been a great Lenten spiritual practice for us, and I think you can see what's come of this. I've shared with there were seven of us clergy folks from this conference went to the thing in San Francisco, and I was sharing with them about this Carbon Fest, and they all thought this was a great idea, and they're going to steal it next year, so, which is a good thing. All right, I invite you to stand as you're able. We're going to sing a new song. Oh, no. Yeah, we are. I think you'll catch on pretty quickly, and the text is perfect for what we're doing right now. I'm going to ask Nikki to play it all the way through once, and the choir actually has the music so they can help us get the tune. Now remember that while worship concludes, our service continues, because we didn't just go to church. We are the church. Go in peace and live in love. Amen.